Let's see. It's also very hard to get into some rooms as well. Like, people get a bit snooty about it. They don't let you come in. Anyway, let me just invite some people. Brianna, I think if Bree is there, she's going to start writing down. She's going to be taking attendance, so write present in the chat so she can write your name down. I'm just going to invite some people until we get started. Anybody got a question?
Can I do the attendance after the meeting so that everyone has already wrote present in the chat and I don't have to keep going back and forth?
Yes, you can.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of doing it. Yeah, because it's still in the chat. So
I have a question. Are all the assignments due by the end of this week?
very good question. Who's that? Who asked that question?
Mohammed.
So here's the thing, right? Marking period 3 finishes on Friday. Okay. Now that does not mean that you have until Friday to hand in all your work. Okay. It means that I have to grade everything by Friday. I'm going to come on to this when we actually get into the meeting, but basically I need everything except the essay, which I posted today. I kind of need by Wednesday. All right, so everything up until assignment 3.9, I really need by Wednesday, so I have time to grade it by Friday. Okay, the essay, if you're behind on your assignments, all right, or you still have any other assignments to do, don't do the essay until next week or the weekend. All right, focus on the assignments up until assignment 3.9. Okay, that's very important because actually the essay is not going to count in this marking period. It's going to count next semester. I'm pushing it over till next semester because you guys will not have time to do it by the time I have to get your grades in. Okay, but I will be talking about that during the lesson. Very good question, Mohammed. Any other questions? Everyone's good so far? All right. So just invite a few more people. Hopefully they'll come and then we'll get started. Okay. So let me just share my screen. Desktop. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, so if you just come, write present in the chat so Brianna can write your name down on the attendance after the lesson today. Make sure you write your name down, otherwise you're going to be counted absent. I'm going to talk about the end of the marking period. We've just been talking about it just now, but I'll go through it in a bit more detail in a minute. I need some people to do some help with me during these lessons. And then I'm going to talk about the essay, and then we're going to talk about the rubric, which is how I grade the essay. Okay, so let's start with the end of the marking period, right? Marking period 3, okay, which is the last marking period for this semester, right? Has all these assignments. 3.1 was the first one we did, designing a baby. And then we go through all here up until the last one, 3.9, which was the assignment I gave you on Friday, so just before the weekend, which was a quiz where you had to basically say what your claim was and the reasons and evidence to support your claim and the opposing claim, right? These are the only assignments which are going to count for marking period 3. Okay, the essay, which I posted today, is not going to count until next semester, right? It will go in next semester's grade. And the reason for that is because you will not have time to do it by the end of marking period 3, and I definitely won't have time to grade it by the end of marking period 3. Okay, so it will count for semester 2 along with some regents, some practice regents that we're going to do not next week, but the week after. And those are mostly going to be multiple choice questions. Okay, but we are going to give you a practice regents, which is basically very similar to what you will see on the actual regents. And part of the regents is, the biggest part of the regents is writing an argument essay. And so this argument essay will count as your practice regents, all right? And then the other things as well, the multiple choice and the text response, they will also count for next semester grade. Any questions on grades? All right, so I was looking through pupil path on the weekend. I saw a lot of people, you know, up into maybe 3.5 and still had all these to do. Okay, so if you're one of those people and you've got 4 assignments missing, right, those are going to count as 55 in your grade book unless you do them by Wednesday. Okay, so you got to try and do it by Wednesday so I have time to grade it by Friday. All right. Some of these assignments do not take long to do. Some of them you can do in 20 minutes. Some of them take a little longer. Right? The ones for the Padlet ones, like 3.3 and 3.5, you can do in like 10 minutes. All right, so just try and do as much as you can, so it's going to boost your grade. Okay, you will get your report card for marking period 3. I think it's next Tuesday. And
isn't it on the 19th?
Yeah, is that Tuesday? That is, yeah, next Tuesday is the 19th. That is when you get your report card for marking period 3, right? And as you probably know, your marking period 2 and 3 grades will be averaged, and that will give you a overall grade for the semester. Okay, so if your grade in marking period 2 was, say, 80, and your marking period 3 grade is 85, okay, those will be averaged to give you an overall grade for the semester, which would actually come out at 85 because it gets counted upwards. Okay, so it's very important if you want to get your grade as high as possible to get as many of these assignments in by Wednesday. Okay, I know that doesn't give you much time, but I think we can do it. Okay, any other questions? All right, so let's talk about, so I already have Brianna, who's going to do the attendance. Is anybody going to game referee? We're not going to play a game today because we don't have time. We're going to play a game Wednesday and Friday. Anybody who hasn't done this before and really wants extra credit because they really want to get a good grade for this semester, anybody want to be the game referee, which basically just is reading out the questions. Anybody? I'll have a look in chat. Anybody? No?
Wait, extra credit?
Extra credit, yeah, you get a little bump on your grade.
Okay, I'll do it.
Who's you? Who's he?
I'm Khalid.
Khalid, you're going to be the game referee. Beautiful. So you're going to do that on Wednesday. And anybody want to monitor the chat? Get a little bump on the grade. Jaden LeBrin. I see Jaden LeBrin's name. Jaden.
What if, for example, you have 100 in your grade?
Well, if you got 100 in your grade, you don't need to be doing this, Nathan. Chat monitor, Anjali, you've done it before. Anybody else who hasn't done it before? Saita, yeah, or Saita or Jaden. Jaden, do you want to be? I saw Jaden first. Do you want to be chat monitor or you want to be the reader? Get a little bump on your grade. Which would you prefer? Mr. LeBrin, are you there? Okay, I do not hear Jaden. So Saita, you're going to be chat monitor. Saita, you there? Saita?
Yeah, I'm here.
Saita, do you know what you have to do for this?
Yeah,
What do you have to do?
I have to tell you what people are saying in the chat.
Yes, if there's any questions or you can just interrupt me anytime. And then Mr. LeBrin, Jaden, are you there? You're going to be reading out stuff. All right, good. Nice to see. Okay, so thank you for that, you guys. Let's talk about the assignment then, the essay. As I said earlier, do not start this essay unless you have finished all the previous assignments, okay? Because this essay is not going to count towards your grade for this semester, okay? So if you still got work to do those first, maybe start looking at the essay on the weekend, all right? So the essay, you have to answer this question: should babies be genetically engineered? All right. And as I was saying to Nathan at the beginning of the call here, you've kind of already done a lot of this stuff already. All the stuff that you're going to be putting in this essay, if you've done some of these previous assignments, you've kind of already done it, right? So if you did the assignment, the Padlet, right, you've already written a claim. Okay, here it is, right? You wrote a claim here on this Padlet. So you can just copy this claim that you wrote, okay? Now, the way you copy it is you want to go here, where these little dots are, right? Oh, sorry. How do I do this? Okay, there should be an option to maybe just do that. Oh, yeah, you just copy it like that. All right, so if you've done this, you can just copy your claim. A lot of these claims that people wrote, right? I gave you, when you find your one, you'll see that I gave you some suggestions about how to make your claim better, right? It will be a comment down here. So you can take that advice, change your claim, and that will be your claim. All right, so that's a big part of writing an argument essay is your claim. And you have already done this. If you haven't done this yet, do it. All right, let's look at, now, some of you, you wrote a claim, but maybe you want to change your claim, maybe you want to make it a qualified claim. If you remember, a qualified claim is when you say something like genetic engineering should be allowed, but only if it's to cure diseases, right? It's a more sophisticated type of claim. I'm not going to say you would get a better grade for it, but it does look good, a qualified claim, because it means that you're kind of assessing two opposing claims at the same time. All right. So a lot of you have already done this on this Padlet. So again, if you don't want to use your original claim, you could use one that you wrote here. Okay, so that's the claim part, which is a big part of the first paragraph. And then the bulk of the essay, the middle of the essay, is where you give reasons and evidence to support your argument. Okay, now, if you've done assignment 3.4, that was looking at text 1, okay, that was a quiz, okay, so if you go into that assignment, you'll see that some of the questions were about reasons in that text, okay, so that will help you think about how you're going to support your claim. And the same for text 2 and the same for text 3. Remember, when you're doing this essay, you have to find evidence in the texts. You can't find it from what your uncle said about genetic engineering. You can't find something you found on the internet. By the way, that thing about Facebook, I could not find that. I don't know what that was about. I know some of you said that to me on Friday. Maybe I'll do a bit more research. But all your reasons and your evidence have to come from one of these 3 texts, right? The opposing claim, right, which is one of the paragraphs, most of you have already written an opposing claim. Now, you might want to change it, but you've already written the kind of style here, right? Let's see if I can find an example. Okay, this was assignment 3.5, 3.7, something like that, 3.8 maybe, where you had to look at someone's claim and then you had to write an opposing claim to that. Okay, so you can kind of see some examples here. Here's a good one, Khalid. Some people say genetic engineering shouldn't be allowed. They say that you're supposed to love your baby, whatever you got, blah, 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 right? So you could just tailor that for your argument, right? So you've got a lot of practice already doing opposing claims. And then if you did assignment 3.9, that was the quiz, okay, you should have a lot of these reasons all collected together. Okay, let's go and have a look at the assignment while we're here, so I can take you through it. Saita, any questions yet?
No.
All right. So Jaden, I'm going to get you maybe to read out the assignment for us once this loads. Drink some chocolate milk while we're waiting. Oh. Okay, let's have a look at this this argument essay. All right, I know it looks scary, but don't be scared. We're going to go through it. Okay, so here we are, 3.10. This is what it looks like for me. This is what it's going to look like for you. All right, so Jaden, are you there? Jaden, Mr. LeBrin, are you there? All right, our reader is not here yet, so let me read out while we're waiting.
Excuse me, Mr. Wick.
Yes. Who's that?
Simone. I have to leave for a student presentation.
Is that Sergely? Oh,
no, this is Simone.
Okay, Simone, no problem. I've recorded this, so you can always watch the end when I post the video. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Take care.
All right.
All right. Let me read through. Who's that?
Jaden.
Jaden, you want to read this for us?
Step 1, right?
So yeah, step 1.
Review again our unit test by clicking on the links. Text 1, text 2, text 3. I think you can see that.
These texts are also available as Word documents. That's what that says.
Okay. Look also at the answer you gave on your previous assignments this unit. You can use these in your essay.
All right, just stop there a minute, okay? So first thing to do is to look at the text, right? These are all links, right? Once you click on the link, it will take you to the text. All right, here's the first one. This is text 1, okay? So a lot of you have already read those texts, so we won't go over them now. They're also in the file section here, all right? And the other thing, as I was saying earlier, right, all these texts, we did them as quizzes, as assignments, okay? So you can always go back into your completed assignments, your completed quizzes, and kind of look at the questions and your answers, and that will give you help in answering the stuff that you're going to put in your essay as well. Okay, Jaden, sorry, read number 2 for us.
Hold on.
See you there? Step 2.
Yeah. Read.
Yeah, you got it. Read the sample.
Okay. Read the sample essay provided below. Argument essay example to see how to structure your essay.
All right. So I actually wrote an example of the kind of thing that you're going to write. Okay. So here's my example essay. Okay. You'll see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 paragraphs, and your essay should also be 5 paragraphs. All right, we'll come on to that in a minute when we actually go into the Word document. Okay. This is only a page long. All right. Yours can be longer, but it shouldn't really be a lot shorter than this. Okay, so if you're wondering about how to answer this, read this first, okay? This essay argues in favor of genetic engineering, all right? If your argument is against genetic engineering, then you're going to use different reasons and different evidence, okay? But it should give you some idea about the kind of language you should be using. Okay, read step 3 for us, if you would, Jaden.
Step 3, open in Word Online the document argument essays and follow the directions. For each section of the essay, there is a short 2-3 minute video guiding you on how to write that section with sentence starters.
All right, so let's go into this, right? When you open it, right, go to the three little things here and open it in Word Online. Open it in Word Online. And then if we go into the document, it's a little slow. This little picture here should be over here. It got screwed up on the thing. But it tells you that you're answering this question, refer to the guidance notes in the video, and then it reminds you that your essay has to include evidence from 3 different texts. We have 3 texts, so you have to have evidence from 3 different texts. Now, if your argument is babies should be genetically engineered, all right, you're going to find reasons for that argument in 2 texts, and then reason against that for your opposing claim in the other text. All right. So for each section of your essay, okay.
Mr. Wick, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I have to go to another meeting for a student
Me too.
organization.
Okay, no problem. You go and you can watch the video. I'm going to post it in later. Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
All
thank
right.
you. Bye.
All right, no
Bye.
problem. Bye. So if you go into here, right, you'll see here it says watch me first, and this is like a little video. These videos are not very long. I don't know why this is not loading, but it should load. Okay, hopefully when you go into it, it should load. But this is a video, a YouTube video. It's only about 2 minutes, 3 minutes long, right? They're very short. And it kind of tells you how to structure your paragraph, all right? So it tells you what you're going to put at the beginning, all right, in terms of the background to the issue, and then your claim, all right? Watch the video, okay? It will really help you in structuring your essay.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Someone in the chat said, how much textual evidence do you need in each paragraph?
Great question. We're going to come on to that in a minute. Thank you for that, Saita. So this is the kind of sentence starters that I mentioned in the video, right? I've just put them here so it's easy for you to just put them into this section, right? So when you come down to do your reasons, right, you're going to put 1 reason per paragraph. So 1 reason in this paragraph, 1 reason in the 3rd paragraph. And the reason will be your first sentence, okay? And then you have your evidence from the text. So you would say something like, 1 reason that strongly supports this claim is that genetic engineering can cure diseases, something like that, okay? And then you will give a piece of evidence, okay, to support that reason. Now, ideally, you would give 2 pieces of evidence per paragraph. Now, you could either give 2 pieces of evidence for each reason, or you could give 2 different reasons in each paragraph and 2 different pieces of evidence, however you want to do it. The most important thing really is the analysis. All right, so when you give your evidence, your quote from the text, the really big part, when we look at the rubric, I'll show you, is analyzing what that evidence is saying. All right, but in general terms, for each of these 2 paragraphs, 1 reason here with 1 piece of evidence, 1 reason here with another piece of evidence. And then when we come on to paragraph 4, which is where you're saying about the other side of the argument, okay, you say what the other side of the argument is, you give a reason and evidence that those people use to support their argument, and then you say why they're wrong. Right, so that's all you're doing in paragraph 4. And then lastly, your conclusion is where you're just summarizing your claim, summarizing the reasons you gave up here, and then maybe giving the reader something new to think about at the end. This is all explained in these little videos. Okay, so make sure you read these little videos. Let's go back into the assignment. Jaden, you still there? Can you read step 4 for us?
After writing your essay, review the argument essay rubric attached below to see how you will be graded.
All right.
Edit your essay if necessary.
Yeah, so after you finish writing your essay, you should have a look at this rubric, which will show you how I'm going to grade it. We'll have a look at the rubric in a minute. And then the last step is just to turn in your assignment. You'll have a little button up here that says turn in, right? And that's the essay due on Friday, January 22nd, which is not this Friday, but the following Friday, okay? As I said before, if you haven't done some of the other assignments before this one, do those this week. Don't start this argument essay. Okay, so you should only be starting this argument essay if you're completely up to date with your work. Right? Otherwise, start on the weekend or next week. Okay, everyone good on the essay? Yeah? All right, let's look lastly at the rubric. Okay, so this essay is a little bit different to previous assignments in that it has a really, really big rubric, which is how I'm going to grade it. Okay, so this is the thing I want you to look at. This is exactly the same as the Regents rubric. It's a little bit simplified because the Regents rubric is impossibly complex, but I've kind of simplified the language, but basic things are still the same here. Right, so you get graded for your claim. Right, now what does it mean, insightful claim? What does that mean? What does insightful mean? Anybody want to say or write in the chat what insightful means? This word insightful. All right. So,
having an accurate understanding.
Yeah, but it's a little bit more than accurate, because accurate would be something like precise, but insightful means that you really, really thought about the issue. Okay, that's why it gets all the big grade here, right? Insightful means I can tell that you've really thought about this issue carefully and you've made a very considered claim, all right? The difference between thoughtful and insightful is not very big difference, all right? But when they come to grade this on the Regents, this insightful claim is where the examiner is thinking to himself, right, I can really tell that this person has thought about this issue. Okay? And then another big part of the rubric is the analysis of the texts, okay? And you'll notice here that if you just give quotes in your essay and you don't analyze it at all, you're going to get a 1 here, which is really going to drag your overall grade down. So it's really, really important to analyze the text. Analyze what this, anytime you give a quote from the text, say what it means in your own words, all right? Because you will get big grades for that. Textual evidence, all right? Make sure you're quoting from 3 different texts, all right? Sources. Right. In one of the videos where we talk about evidence, I tell you how to cite your evidence, because one thing that a lot of people do when they do the essay is they just copy out whole big sections of the from the texts, right? And they don't tell you, the reader, that they're actually copying from the text. So you've got to make sure if you're copying from the text, you've got quote marks and you say which text it comes from. Again, I explain that in one of the videos, all right? So if you don't do that, if you don't tell me what text it comes from, text 1, 2, or 3, if you don't put quote marks, you're going to be down here in the 2s, all right? And then organization basically just means that your essay is in the right order. So it starts with a claim, has its evidence and reasons, the opposing claim, and then a conclusion, right? That's what we mean by logical organization of ideas. The other thing it means is that you kind of connect up your paragraphs, and the way we do that is by using some things like transition words. And I talk about that in one of the videos as well, all right? And some of those sentence starters, if you use those, then you're going to be here, skillful organization of ideas. They're just signposts to the reader about where your essay is going. Language and grammar, not really so important, but you know, maybe check with spell check or something, make sure you're spelling things right. And lastly, at the bottom here, your essay, you've got to use 3 texts. If you don't use 3 texts, you're not going to score above a 3 overall. A 3 is not really a pass on the argument essay. Okay. If you don't have an alternate or opposing claim in your essay, again, you're not going to score above a 3. This is exactly what they do in the regions. Okay. If you just have a personal response saying what you feel about genetic engineering and you don't say anything about the text at all, then you're going to be scoring a 1. All right. So after you've written your essay, make sure you check the rubric, and then go down for each section, compare it to what you've written, and maybe think about how you might edit it to get a better grade. Okay. All right. Any questions? Everyone's good? No questions on the essay? Yeah, if you think of something later, you can always send me a message in chat. All right. Nikoi, do we have to use evidence from all 3 texts? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. All right. In general terms, okay, the first text has evidence for and against genetic engineering. Okay, so you can always find evidence in that. The second text is against genetic engineering, and the third text is for genetic engineering, right? So if your essay is against genetic engineering, you're going to find your reasons in text 1 and 2, and you're going to find your opposing claim, text 3. Okay? If your argument is for genetic engineering, you'll find your reasons in text 1 and 3, and the opposing claim, text 2. Okay? That's how generally it would work. Any other questions? Everyone good? All right, so I will see you guys on Wednesday. We'll maybe go into a little bit more detail about the first paragraph of your essay. As I said before, make sure you're getting up to date on your assignments, preferably by Wednesday. All right? Any other questions before we go? Someone is sleeping. Hello. All right. I'll see you guys on Wednesday. Bye, everybody. I don't know who's that sleeping. Jaden, are you sleeping? Okay. All right. Bye, everybody. See you on Wednesday.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye, guys.
Good day.
Bye, Mr. Lee.
Bye. Don't fall asleep in my essence.